yeah, the barriers to space are just coming down like every minute, every second. They really are. So fundamentally, the big barrier to space is getting there, right? Specifically, the big barrier is getting through the first 100 kilometers, because after the first 100 kilometers, the effect of gravity is, much reduced. So you can carry on forever. So that barrier is being reduced because more and more different countries, more and more different collaborations are developing their own rocket capability. So to give you an example, in the UK, we're very much going down that path too. We're trying to develop a relatively light lift. But that's reflecting the fact that the market has changed. There are all these different commercial operators. Satellites are smaller, right? Back in the day, satellites could be, well, up to the size of a double-decker bus. Nowadays, they can be the size of a shoebox, right? So the market has changed as well. So that's why in the UK, we've decided that, there's a new commercial opportunity in light lift to launch into orbit these smaller satellites. Now, why would commercial operators want to launch satellites into space? Well, already they do that for, as I said, some of these really essential services that, frankly, we all rely on every single day, every hour of the day, and most of us are completely unaware. Weather forecasting, 99% of the data comes from space. Monitoring climate change, over 50% of the essential climate variables can only be measured from space. Mobile communications, satellite navigation, the precise time stamping that is possible from space, enabling financial transactions. So all that stuff already is enabled by satellites. The other thing that happens in the space environment is research. And so when you look at the International Space Station, for instance, huge, right? If you looked at the area, it'd be about the size of a football pitch. But some of those units are, chocker with scientific experiments, be they in the field of pharmacology, in the field of material science, all sorts of different scientific disciplines are using the microgravity environment to try and understand what is going on in their particular fields of science. That in itself is quite exciting. What's really exciting, though, is if that pivots to a point when we're actually seeing manufacturing in space. And this is starting to happen. So there's a company, for instance, that already has made a commercial success of manufacturing fiber optic cable in space, because the properties of that cable are so extraordinary in the microgravity environment with very, very low loss that it actually makes business sense to pay for the production in space and the return of the fiber cable to Earth. So that's quite a game changer. If you could imagine that same thing then playing out, as I say, in pharmacology, scientists are discovering that you can produce drugs, for instance, which have very different capabilities, very different potencies if they're produced in microgravity as opposed to produced under gravity conditions down on Earth. That opens up a massive potential for new commercial operations in space.